The case was very important because it was the first case in Jamaica dealing with the effect of globalization in that commercial respect. U.S. McDonald's claimed that the Jamaican company was passing off its business as theirs. By using the name McDonald's, they would cause people to think that they were really a branch of the U.S. company. And the Jamaican company insisted that they were here first and had been here for over 20 years using the name. The U.S. company claimed that by opening offices here, they would provide employment, they would purchase stock and raw materials from local producers, and they would therefore help the economy. They placed great emphasis on the size of their advertising budget. They spent billions of dollars worldwide promoting the name. And they argued that that gave them, in all countries that received U.S. satellite TV, that had U.S. magazines on sale, people in that country would necessarily know about McDonald's and associate the name with that company. The simple aspect was that the nature of the Jamaican operation was such that it would confuse no one.
On today's menu, we have curry goat, roast beef, fish and chips, chicken and green peas.
They sold, to a large extent, traditional Jamaican fare. The judge refused to close down the Jamaican company. And that did create some pressure because Chamber of Commerce and similar people who were calling us to say, you're keeping out business and you're preventing the development of the economy.
It's a question of what's fair for the citizens of that country. If they're working and they're manufacturing and they're producing, why shouldn't they have the right to buy things that other people have in the rest of the world?
You know, there's just Burger King and Kentucky Fried and pizza and just all of the things of mass consumption in American society. In a society that does not have a productive base to sustain this.
McDonald's started talking to us about 3 years ago. This facility, which cost us $40 million to upgrade, was put in place to facilitate people like McDonald's and Burger King increase our production and make patties that they wouldn't have to be importing them. McDonald's have asked us to supply them with a HACCP plan. We have done that. We have made burgers for them, which they have sampled and found to be okay. In fact, the taste has been much better than the ones they had imported, but we still have not been able to supply them.
Beef farmers from several parishes who've been hurting from the importation of less expensive meat today vented their frustrations against fast food giant McDonald's.
Yeah, well, I've been in farming from 1977, and I've never had a problem in all those years selling cow until last year. Although these animals should have been sold from December, we just canceled them. In America, you wouldn't find cows grazing the pasture like this. They are injected with an anabolic steroid known as stilbestrol. We can't use stilbestrol here, it just doesn't come into the country. But it's been used on farms abroad. So when the people are consuming imported beef, they're really exposing themselves to cancer-causing agents.
We had a case where one of the local businessmen thought it'd be a good deal if he could buy some chicken cheap. When they came up with an idea that they would import some chicken. This chicken, it turns out upon examination, was I think about 20 years old. When we determined that yes, it was not for human consumption, he tried to convince us that the shipment only came here accidentally and that the shipment was in fact for Haiti and that we should release it back into his custody so he could send it on to Haiti.
I been in America. I never seen nowhere in the store where them sell chicken back. But yet I see it leave America and come to Jamaica.
Well, it's from slavery, you know. Remember, slavery was that the master would eat what he considered the better part. And then the slaves would get the refused. So the back and the neck and the tail and the foot and all these things is like a third world country dumping ground.
A very interesting thing in the US poultry market has been the development of the passion for white meat. Obviously, if you take the breast meat off a chicken, you're left with the dark meat, the leg and the thigh, and the neck and the back. As a consequence, there is more and more of the dark meat, which is imported from the United States of America. And that has really been the threat to our market at this point. When the cost of producing a pound of breast chicken meat in the States is very likely about 50 cents. It was being offered to Jamaica as low as 20 cents a pound. This had a traumatic effect in terms of our local industry and our ability to compete. There's no doubt that the markets in our region have been targeted by the US industry in terms of penetrating and supplying those markets at the detriment to the local industry and the possible loss of jobs.
The labor dispute involving management and workers who were made redundant at the Jamaica Broilers Spring Village plant in St. Catherine turned nasty today. Over 200 chicken farmers who've been suffering losses since the shutdown of the plant protested to bring attention to their plight. Former workers demonstrating outside the plant clashed with the police, resulting in an all-out brawl.
Globalization has provided enormous opportunities for growth, investment, and transfer of know-how and technology.
Where does Jamaica stand now is interesting. Incidentally, there is an IMF program with Jamaica at the moment. We're not lending them money, but we have what's called a staff-monitored program.
We don't have an IMF agreement. We are following what the IMF would have wanted us to do on an agreement anyway. So the influence of IMF is still very much here. We're not getting any IMF money, but we're still doing what they want us to do.
For them give we basket, fi go carry water. Them give we basket, fi go carry water. Earthquake, lightning and thunder. For them give